Rehearsals are underway. That means we're just weeks away from the Oklahoma Community Orchestra beginning its 34th season, I believe. An impressive bunch. I've heard them, I think, a handful of times, perhaps 3. Next to me, Cynthia Howell, Dr. Irvin Wagner, and Gerald Warlick. Great to see you guys. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Doctor, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Your 3rd season behind the baton, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Oklahoma Community Orchestra.
Well, first of all, it's a group of volunteers. Everyone even pays a little bit to play in that orchestra. And from a musical standpoint, I always say that you get some of your best music because the people playing, the performers, are playing because they want to.
They want
it's
to be
for
there.
heart. It's not a salaried position. They're playing from their heart. So sometimes that makes better music than even the greatest pros because I think the heart wins out over technique sometimes. And it's a great experience, and they're wonderful people to be around. That's what makes it so pleasant.
Cynthia, you're the orchestra president. Tell us a little bit more about the group.
Well, we have a board of directors that runs the orchestra and kind of directs me in what to do. I spend a lot of time with committees trying to get them to do publicity, and we're selling ads for our program. We try to raise funds. We have some good programs set up for auditioning and interviewing new players. Oklahoma City is growing and developing so quickly with all the new people moving in that we have a lot of people that have studied music all of their life and they're interested in coming and playing with us.
How would they get involved?
We have an info line we have the address on our website, and there's a phone number. That info line comes to my house, to my computer, and I look at the message it's sent and find out what instrument they play. Sometimes I have to call them because they'll forget to put that in. And then I refer them to the section leader.
Gotcha.
And then the section leader contacts them. And oftentimes they will audition them. Some of them come very highly trained and very skilled.
You mentioned that website, that is okorchestra.org, where you can find more information, including schedules and upcoming shows. I mentioned that Spooktacular. There you see the website right there, their first show upcoming. So we'll pull that up real fast. Coming up October 3rd, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m., Oklahoma Christian University, and that's where most of the shows take place, right?
Correct.
You are the oboist and treasurer. She mentions the orchestra board. Tell us more about how the board participates in this, and the fact that the musicians are actually an integral part of this.
Well, we have officers of the board. Some take care of publicity and promotions, and of course I handle the money for the orchestra and collect all from the dues-paying members. And we have foundations who we receive grants from. We have someone in charge of properties for the orchestra, and a librarian and a personnel manager. And so we all take part somehow in keeping this orchestra running.
You play the oboe. Cynthia was talking about how different people get involved. So are you hitting up oboe? People come in, hey, I play the oboe. Would that perhaps come your direction?
It would. Usually in our wind section and brass section, we have a limited number of players that we can have, but when we have vacancies, then we usually try to find people to fill those.
That's good.
A good example is that one of the longtime flutists has been with the orchestra since the beginning. Diane Summers Galoob, but she's moving to Tulsa for various reasons, and we're sad to have her leave us. But we have auditions, and many flutists have contacted either the board or the principal flutist, and there's going to be official auditions. And I think I just got a list today. I think there's something like 18 flutists that are interested in auditioning for one position. So that's how popular it is, It's pretty amazing.
It's an impressive group. I've heard you, like I said, 3 times at various locations. I believe a church up on Walker. I heard you on the south side of Oklahoma City Community College, and then the most recent concert up at Oklahoma Christian. Yeah. It's a talented bunch you have sitting in front of you.
Absolutely. It's a very talented bunch, and a bunch all up and down the line, and like Cynthia said, some highly trained and skilled players, but they have chosen to have careers and other things besides the music business, but they still want to maintain that. And I think that's even growing around the United States and maybe the world, that people want to continue their musical skills, express their art while still making a living or earning at another profession. And it's a wonderful way to do that.
It's fun music too. I'll let you guys talk about this, but tell us more about the type of music. Oklahoma City Community College, that was a fun show with Lucas Ross was there.
Oh yeah, you were at that one, yes.
As part of that, I see on the Spooktacular you have some Harry Potter queued up.
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, I'll make an overall thing. For the season, I think we have 5 big concerts. And so for the programming, we try to mix around a little bit. So one will be more classical and some are more oriented towards children or different events. And for instance, this first one you were talking about is a Spooktacular, so it's a Halloween concert. And we have.
Will you be dressed up?
Yes, you know, I think we haven't actually talked, but I have decided even today, I mean, it wasn't just because of this, but I'm going to wear a Pirates
Spoiler
outfit.
alert, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
Nice.
so they don't know that yet.
That'd be great.
So but don't tell anybody.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to dress up just a little bit anyway.
That's
It's
cool.
a nice tailed Pirates uniform, so I'll conduct from that. But we're doing all the famous pirate or Halloween music.
Gotcha.
And you know, in the history of music, there have been death and evil spirits and going to one place or the other, and eternal life have always been a part of humanity. And like one of them is Dance Macabre that we're doing by Saint-Saëns, and that comes from an ancient tale of death dancing, waiting, because no one escapes death. And so it's a death waiting, wanting people to die, and that's the whole nature of Dance Macabre.
You do a good job at these shows too, of sort of explaining, hey, here's the song we're going to play, here's the setup, and the story behind the story, which when you're listening to the performance, it adds to it.
Yeah, I think so, because I like to make it relevant to the listener and meaningful, so that when they're listening to these notes that are being played, that it speaks something into your heart. You know, going on, another big thing that I might call attention to here, if they want to address it, but the orchestra sponsors a competition for young artists every year, and that concert happens in April this year. But the young artists compete, and we select a string and a wind person, or it can be a percussion too, you know. But we select 2 winners, and then they get to appear with the orchestra, and that's really a wonderful opportunity for some young people in the
Good
area.
experience for them.
You betcha.
Yes.
Yeah. And that, yeah, I really look forward to that. You know, another thing that is not totally a part of our season, but every year we play the Nutcracker Ballet in Yukon, and so that the Civic Center, of course, has the Oklahoma Ballet Company with the Philharmonic playing, but that's the only other performance of the Nutcracker with a live orchestra is in Yukon, and it's a very fine production out there. So that's another thing that we do too, which is terrific.
Well, how did you guys get involved in music? Gerald, let's start with you. You have quite the career here. I believe you spent more than a dozen years teaching youth over at the Mid-Dell area.
Right.
So what got you started in music?
Well, like most in instrumental music, they start in elementary school, and I was recruited to play in elementary school, and then after college, really became interested in playing orchestra, you know, after graduating with a degree, and so I did that in addition to teaching.
And so these days, what are you up to? I believe you're on the board at 2 different places, Southern Nazarene, and I think I read Oklahoma Christian University, teaching oboe.
Correct. And so in addition to teaching at those 2 universities, I just am a freelance oboist playing different professional
An oboist for
jobs.
hire.
Exactly.
And Cynthia, what about you? What got you into, we mentioned you play the violin. How did you get involved in music?
Very eclectic.
I'm sure all of you guys play more than one instrument, but violin.
I started violin in the 4th grade in Kansas City, And then I played all through high school, and then in college I played, but I did not major in music.
Gotcha.
I kept taking lessons either at college or wherever I was, but my husband was a pilot and we moved around a lot. And every place I went, I always found a place to play, whether it was a quartet or an orchestra. I was just very fortunate always to find some place to play. And we lived several places in the United States, and even when we were overseas in Japan and also in Germany, there were a lot of places to play.
That's great. Also smart of the two of you to play instruments that are pretty compact and can travel. You're not like,
Yes, yes, very much so.
yeah, you know, you see it before and after the orchestra, people lugging in big basses or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, cellos
Oh,
or
yeah.
stuff like that, you know.
Well, I play the trombone, see, so I know all about that.
It takes up a
But
little
it's
bit
not
of
as bad
space.
as a cello or a bass or something like that, you know.
I should mention, my sister plays with you guys in the cello situation, so
Yeah.
she certainly enjoys being among the talent that is
And
on
we
that
enjoy
stage.
having
so.
her also.
Yes.
Very good. You can find out more information at the Oklahoma Orchestra at okorchestra.org. For 34 years it's going on, and there you see the website. Again, you can find more information. I believe they even have a video on that website if you want to watch the talent in action. Guys, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Best of luck with the season moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.